And good evening, my lovely Lost Tales, and welcome back to the Blue Rose Respite for my soothing Sunday night stream. I hope you're all doing well this weekend, as we will be continuing with When the Night Comes. If you've been watching my previous streams of this game, you know that this game has me completely and utterly hooked. And so I hope you're all as excited as I am to sink our teeth into the rest of this amazing story. We might finish the story by the end of tonight. I think there's about 10 chapters or so, and we're up to chapter 6, but who knows how quickly the next few chapters will go. But thank you so much, Sam. I must say I am quite fond of going the extra effort with doing my eye makeup for this particular stream. I hope you're doing well, still riding the last night's high as well, I hope. Oh, you know I am. I am so happy that my latest ASMR tale has been met with such an incredible reception, because it was a chapter that takes a risk. I won't go into the details in case you haven't had the chance to listen to it yourself, but I took some risks with it. It really took a lot out of me as a voice actor, and I'm just so happy that all my efforts paid off so well. So, oh, thank you for the stretch check, Hayden. And it looks so freaking amazing. Thank you. I think because I've got naturally quite intensely blue eyes, purple eyeshadow does look quite good on me, I'm not gonna lie. My whole face is a golden ratio of perfection. Sam, you're too kind. Okay, guys, let us settle in and continue. Just want to make sure that I've got the latest save. And yes, I think it's this one. Alrighty. How's your week been? My week has been good. My weekend's been nice, relaxing, while still getting some work done yesterday and today. So everyone, settle in. I've got some delicious tea poured for myself, and I hope you all enjoy the next few chapters of When the Night Comes. The shop is busy when I arrive, but Ezra does an excellent job of remaining professional when he spots me. I linger in the corner while he rings up his final customers, surveying the volumes upon volumes of magical literature he has on display. Mimes Against Humanity, thank you so much for the 4-month resub. Yay, 4 months as a subscriber. Thank you so much, Mimes. I really appreciate it. Thank you. The sleepy white cat from before is curled up on the countertop, and she lazily raises her head when I approach as the bell signals that the final customer has left. Her eyes glow a vivid aquamarine, and she's certainly unlike any feline I've seen before. Her name is Coco. He scratches her chin, and she purrs her thanks before gracefully jumping down, heading for the back room with a swish of her tail. That ASMR performance is award-worthy. It was so good. Thank you so much, Sam. She's got a bit of an attitude problem. I think I've spoiled her a little too much. How long have you had her? His mouth twists to the side while he thinks. Hayden, thank you so much for the 39-month resub. 39 full months now. Feels like just yesterday that I finally joined Twitch to subscribe to you. Thank you so much, Hayden, for the absolutely incredible support. You always go above and beyond. Thank you. She followed me home one night when I was a child, maybe 10, 11 years ago. She's not exactly a normal cat, but I've never really bothered to find out what she might be or where she's from. She's just Coco. We'll value her privacy.
What can I do for you? Is it about the tall, blonde, utterly terrifying woman you sent my way last night?
Maybe. I grimace, taking a deep breath. My mind is once again overflowing with revelations, new information I've barely had time to process. Sorry about that, but no. I had a chat with our demon friends. I study his expression carefully, but I see nothing to indicate that he has any idea what I'm about to say. And? How adept are you at closing hell portals? What? I almost can't help but laugh at the way his eyes widen. Then a flicker of realization, his shoulders sinking under the weight of it.
Oh no, I can't believe I didn't think to check. I've been so caught up with everything else that I just... fuck?
Oh. I believe in you. You can do this, Ezra. He's obviously distressed that such a thing could fly under his radar, and I gather that Ezra has quickly put the puzzle pieces together. Ezra isn't stupid. He knows what this means, what the tear between realms has brought upon this town. We can and will fix this. There must be a spell, a ritual. He clears his throat, snapping himself from his gaze.
Yes, I mean, there will be, not that I'm familiar. It will require a great deal of research, and I doubt I'll be able to do that alone.
August? He smiles.
August is very powerful, as I'm sure you can already tell. So, with their help, hopefully it's something we can achieve.
Oh, guys, and we are right on the cusp of a hype train, so if you want to renew your subscriptions, now's the perfect time to do so. Or send bits my way, but honestly, I want you guys to always prioritize your own financial needs first. I don't doubt either of you for a second. I look at you as he processes all of this, his fingers visibly twitching at his sides, eyes flicking to the endless rows of books that line his walls. Ezra, I know you can do this. Please, don't worry. He offers me a smile, but it's a sorry thing. Timid, almost.
I'm glad that you have some faith in me, at least. I'm just so angry with myself. I was the first person Omen found when he arrived. I should have known.
I tended to his wounds, saw the markings. I should have checked. Markings? I think back to the odd way that Omen rubbed his neck. Demons from other realms often have a sigil or rune that grants them access to their home, so it makes sense for him to have one, I suppose. But healed? To what extent did Omen go to... You should ask Omen. It isn't my place. Of course. But think you can give yourself a pass on this one? It isn't exactly common to have a Prince of Hell stumble into your shop. I cross the room and take his hand, the urge to comfort him overwhelming. I tip my chin to catch his gaze, coaxing a small smile. Salvaholder, thank you so much for the 22-month resub, coming up to almost 2 full years now. Thank you so, so much. Thank you. And guys, we've got a level 2 hype train chugging along. Choo choo. You're just saying that. Oh? And why would I do such a thing? Kiss. I watch the gentle bob of his throat as he swallows, his lips parted, eyes focused on me, only me. Then he captures my lips with his own in a kiss that assists in answering my question. That I do anything for him, anything to make him happy. His hair is soft when it curls about my fingertips, his skin warm as my thumbs brush over his flushed, freckled cheekbone. Reluctantly I pull away, resting our foreheads together, looking him in his pretty eyes, then as honest as I could ever be. I would never lie to you. You're brilliant and smart and capable.
Now you're actively trying to make me blush, aren't you?
But it's so cute! Hayden! Holy shit, thank you so much for the 5 gifted subscriptions. You're absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. Oh. Thank you so much, Hayden. You're amazing. I place another quick kiss to his lips before I move away, but only a little. No, I just know that you can do it. I'm not just saying it. I promise. With a theatrical sigh, Ezra concedes. Hey, Metaloid Man, how's it going? Very well. I believe you, I suppose. Now, do you want to tell August, or shall I? The very loud burst of laughter tells me I might be the one tasked with such a pleasant conversation. Excellent. August likes me, though. Piper. Oh, I love Piper so much. Piper opens the door with a smile as I advance to the next stop on my tour. Afternoon. Just gonna stand there, or what? I roll my eyes, kicking off my boots as I enter. We take a seat upon the sofa, Piper tucking her feet beneath her, relaxed in her surroundings. I had an eventful evening. She sits a little straighter, eyebrows quirked in interest. Oh yeah? Yes, with your favourite cultist, actually. The noise that she makes is interesting. Oh, her. How awful for you. My sympathies. Rather you than me, though, I suppose. What gives? Oh, you know, the usual. Just her making friends with the thing that the thing terrorizing us. Normal cultist stuff. I wish I could say I'm surprised. Was it at least a productive conversation? Yes, it helped, which is better than nothing, right? The Medloid Man, thank you so much for the gifted sub! Holy shit, thank you so much, Medloid Man. You're amazing. Thank you. Better than nothing. I take a deep breath, considering my next words carefully. We should talk about Aya, about what we found down there. Gifted sub for my birthday. Oh, happy birthday, the Medloid Man! I really hope you had an awesome weekend and you have a fantastic birthday. Thank you so much for dropping by tonight on your birthday. Her shoulders slump and she averts her gaze, her eyes sad. Yes, I haven't stopped thinking about it all. Fierro, Aya, everything.
How can we work for people who do that? Who forge records, who imprison their own for nothing?
Aya's innocent, that much I know. And Azazel? He's down there because he supposedly got attacked? It continues to make no fucking sense. I agree with her, but we have little time for frustration. We have to begin acting, now. The clan are preparing to get Fierro out of the dungeons. We can't leave him in there. Not now we know what they're doing. Finn was wondering if you mind assisting them? Of course I will. Anything to stick to those asshole enforcers. I'm not going to keep anything from Piper because I need her complete trust on this. I'm going to... Or did Finn ask us not to mention it? Shit. I'm struggling to remember. Did Finn ask us to keep the power of Fierro's blood on the down low? Aronas, thank you so much for the 11-month resub. And yes, that is a very accurate reaction to whenever Piper shows up, isn't it? But thank you so much for the resub. I really appreciate it. I don't think he said that we have to keep it hush-hush, but I'm just going to say that. Because I don't want Finn to be angry at me. What do you think, guys? I don't think he mentioned it, so I think I should mention it to Piper. And guys, we've reached the end of this amazing hype train. Thank you so much for the gifted subscriptions to everyone who gifted them. You're absolutely amazing. Thank you. Yes? Question mark? Okay, I've saved it. I'm going to mention Fierro's blood, because Piper might know something. I feel a little stupid for having such an idea, but after what Finn told me about the blood, I can't get it off my mind. When I encountered the creature, it was almost as if it had thralled me, like it sapped away all of my free will. Piper frowns, shifting a little closer, waiting for me to continue. What if they're taking Fierro's blood to give to this creature? To make it stronger, better? She takes a while to respond.
If they are, why? Why would they need to mess around with the things we're supposed to be killing? Our purpose is to rid the planet of those things, not to make them stronger.
She's right. It makes no sense. We need to figure out their endgame, and fast. I pause, watching her carefully. She looks so tired. How are you doing after all of this? She huffs a quiet little laugh, shrugging. Don't really know.
Before all of this, I was just angry. Angry that I got punished for caring too much, which isn't something I ever really did before. Now I just feel numb.
It's going to be okay, Piper. It has to be. Right. How could it possibly get any fucking worse? Don't say it. I grimace and Piper laughs. Don't say that. Now we're really fucked. With a groan, I reluctantly tear myself from the comfort of her sofa. The mere thought of dragging myself across the street to the wharf makes me want to weep, but I really should check in with August. I need to go and visit our dear enforcer. Have fun with that, I suppose. She crinkles her nose in disgust, and I can't help but laugh at the expression. Thanks a bunch. I head for the door, turning to look at her one last time when she yells, "Wouldn't want to be ya." In the aftermath of what we learned, August and Ezra were quick to action, gathering supplies and the instruments required to perform the spell. That was the first day. Then time stretched on. I'm just going to save because we had a bit of a time skip, it sounds like. Then time stretched on. 1 day. 2 days. 4. A week. Knowing that everything was leading up to this moment and that might not even work was stressful to say the least. What if they couldn't close it? What if the creature is still that strong without this unseen force feeding it? Those worries lingered, but I found ways to distract myself. I hunted nightly. I spent time training with Piper, studying with August. There was also Finn and Ezra. Stolen moments with them amongst all of the chaos, moments that only solidified my feelings for both of them. Then, a knock on my door one night. The news I'd been waiting for. I stepped out just in time to watch the sunset over the horizon. The sky darkens and the clouds are tipped with orange, then purple, until all that hangs over me is endless black. Somehow I feel lighter than ever as I head for the forest, a funny kind of hope settling in my gut. Ezra and August are strong alone, but together, I think back to that moment in Ezra's shop, the reconciliation between the two, the shift in how they hold themselves, a weight finally released. Together, I have no doubt that they're unstoppable. There's only one way to find out. Omen and Elaine had entered our realm right on the edge of town, just as the cobblestones fade into dirt. The trees are denser here, everything a little less ominous. August, I think this is the first time we've seen you in armor, and I must say it is a wonderful look on you. I find Ezra and August exactly where they said they would be, both of them looking a little pensive. Stephanie, right on time. I know you don't suffer tardiness. Very good. Now, shall we get on with it, I suppose? Ezra has already laid out his supplies, a neat little pile of strange things you could only ever find in a magic shop. There's also a symbol drawn on the forest floor that looks startlingly similar to a pentagram with a few minor changes. Ezra catches me looking and offers me a shrug as if saying, of course us closing a portal to one of the many hells would require such a thing. Just another day in Lunaris. Let's just get this over with. He pulls a vial from his belt, the liquid dark and viscous. From my experience, I recognize it as demon blood. Omen gave it willingly. I didn't stab him or anything. Okay, I have to ask, why are these character models so hot? Because, Talon, this is a wonderful game. And every character in it is hot. I'm not kidding. Every character we've encountered that has art is very hot. I think we know that, Ezra. Just checking. He pours the blood on the ground at their feet, the faintest shimmer shining in the grass when it makes contact. They join hands and begin chanting. Minas mina enas eoni, from the fire of earth. Que mina eam sas. To the fire of hell. I love this game. They look so fucking cool. I love this game so much. It's so pretty. The shimmer grows in luminosity. It pulses brighter, brighter still, until it's almost blinding. I step back, watching as their grip on one another tightens, their eyes aglow, legs shaking. Ezra almost falters, but August holds him steady, gives him strength. Que sa se nush yisaz. We call to he who rules this realm. Yeah, yes, Koha. Close this gate. The ground beneath our feet rumbles. It stutters and shakes from the incantation, a vibration I feel deep in my bones. Yazgi Koha. Close this gate. Then, stillness, silence. Slowly they release one another, exchanging appraising glances at their current state. There is some haggard breathing, but they're apparently fine. They turn their attention back to the tear. Or former tear. Is it done? Did it work? Perhaps the question was too soon. It tumbles out before I can stop it and it echoes loudly. Yet if seeing that hazy portal wink out was anything to go by, I damn well better ask.
I think it did. The energy still lingers, but I no longer feel anything pulling at me. Not like I did when we first arrived.
The only way to know for sure is to get Omen or Elaine to check for us.
I can... Ezra is interrupted by a chorus of yelling and terrible screaming. As if all at once the air is kicked out from our lungs, and whatever brief moment of relief we had is extinguished at the sound.
It's coming from town. But we need to...
I'll clean up here. Go, I've got this.
We both look at him, hesitant, but time is of the essence and we know we have no choice. Stay safe. Head straight home as soon as you're done. You've exhausted yourself enough for one evening. I will. Linares is in chaos. There's blood on the streets of its owner, I'm not entirely sure, but I know exactly what it is the second I see Piper rushing towards us, her daggers drawn. Her aura thrums with adrenaline and it bleeds into mine at her approach.
Report.
It's that thing. I saw it with my own eyes. Ugly motherfucker, isn't it? Where is it now?
It was heading straight for headquarters. Had this mad look, like it couldn't see anything else. The witches scared it off and distracted it. It scurried into the forest, but I couldn't catch it.
Good. No one should face it alone. Stephanie is right. We cannot risk losing anyone else. Especially not you two. We have to end this. I look around and see the fear etched across everyone's faces. A creature hasn't made it this far into town in years. Not a hostile one, anyway. They must be terrified. We have to do something to show them that we have this under control, no matter the circumstance. We need to go and find it and kill it. This ends now. Damn right we do.
I'll stay here. They're afraid. This is their nightmare. I can at least try to make sure they feel safe.
I look off into the distance, the forest calling to me. The tips of my fingers tingle, every nerve ending set alight as my adrenaline spikes. Well, I'm the thing the monsters have nightmares about. Let's finish this. We head towards the forest, leaving the town in chaos behind us. I stop dead in my tracks as the houses fade out, something telling me to pause, to think. August, you should stay with Piper, just in case it... I pause, taking a breath. I can handle this. Hunter Swan, I don't doubt that, but... I'd hate to leave you alone. I smile at them, and they throw me an incredulous look. Hey, Chaywood, how's it going? I'm doing good tonight. I hope you're doing well. I won't be alone. They frown, their eyes flickering towards the tree line. When they relax, I suspect they see exactly what I see. Very well. I'll fall back. Keep the townsfolk safe. They reach out and place their hand upon my forearm, squeezing gently. Their eyes are sad, but earnest and proud.
Show it no mercy, just as it has shown none to us.
I nod, knowing I won't let them down. Any of them. Yes, General. Reluctantly, they turn on their heel, immediately barking orders at a group of enforcers that scurry towards them. I feel them before I see them, our connection growing stronger by the day. When I turn, they're both standing right before, beautiful smile. I assume that meant right before me, beautiful smiles on their faces.
Thought you might like to go on a date. Don't have anything better to do you?
Hi. Hi, both of you. I'm so glad I'm going into this with you two by my side. I roll my eyes at Finn, as does Ezra, but the smiles we cannot stifle say it all. Oh look, a hydrate check, I wonder why. Truly a beautiful evening for a romantic stroll, wouldn't you say? This thing doesn't stand a chance, not against us. Ready to finish this, Stephanie? Let's go kick this creature back to whatever hell it dared to crawl from. It doesn't take us long to find the creature's obvious path of destruction. Blood and ichor cover the ground, in its own I assume. There's a path of trees that have been felled, jagged claw marks covering the splintered bark. I close my eyes, but Finn snaps me from my concentration when he steps in front of me. Wait, I need to... He looks at Ezra, who steps forward and places his hand upon his prosthetic, the etchings flickering gently.
Finn, it's okay.
Wait. If this gets bad, I might... change. I would hope you'd never have to see me like that. I know I'm already a monster. I just hope you don't think any less of me when you see what I really am.
No, it's totally fine. I'll forgive you for everything you've ever done. Red flags are my favorite color. But no, Finn is wonderful and he's shown us nothing but absolute respect during this whole ordeal. Anyway, I look to Ezra, who watches the vampire with such a gentle fondness that I can't ever imagine being scared of him. I'm going to save because this sounds like things are getting serious. You're no monster. For him to think I could ever be repulsed by him is madness. His red flags are big, but his chest is bigger. Exactly. I've seen many creatures in my time, many horrors, but Finn could never be one of them. I could never see him as anything less than the man I've come to feel for. I take his face in my hands, stroking my thumbs over the knife edge of his cheekbones, and I smile. You're not a monster to me. To us.
You forget, I've seen you at your worst, and I still love you, don't I?
Yes. Silly of me to think either of you could be faced by anything, I suppose. He presses a kiss to each of my palms before I withdraw my touch. All I see when I look at both of you is someone who I care about, who I pause, the words feeling heavy upon my tongue. Before I can continue, there's a sorrowful groan that echoes from deep within the forest. It lumbers into the clearing, too close to the town for comfort, too alert and entirely focused on me. Only me. Finn grabs my arm, pressing his lips to my ear, tugging Ezra behind him. We'll keep its attention. You attack. Don't let it thrall you. It straightens up, taller than I remember, but still no taller than me. What if it thralls you? Finn smiles, clenching his fists. Oh, the arm transforms, yes! Vampire mode activate. Oh, and the veins on his face. Oh, I'm living for this. I love this. Thank you. Thank you. I love this game so much. I watch him transform before me, shifting into something not human. The once gentle gold of his eyes is swallowed by fathomless black, dark fissures appearing on the surface of his milky skin. His prosthetic glows so brightly that I'm blinded, and when I regain my focus, it has almost changed. It has also changed and shifted, just like its master. a weapon. When he next speaks, his voice is different, deeper, every syllable shaking. I can try. Ezra's eyes widen as he takes in the sight of the beast, and he swallows thickly when he looks at me, unfazed by Finn's shift. Then, if I thought Ezra was magical before, the whites of his eyes are swallowed by the brightest, most vivid emerald. Fishes of light appear upon the surface of his skin like vines, curling around his fingertips. Look at my boys! Look at them, they are so handsome! I love them both so much! Oh, another hydrate check, perfect. Just gives me a moment to savor this. The air practically hums around him, singing under his command, the thick scent of petrichor permeating my senses. It's enchanting. He's enchanting. His magic lives and breathes, and at this moment I'm captivated. Go. I propel myself forward, unafraid, kicking up dirt. I throw back my fist, landing the first hit with a satisfying smack. The impact reverberates through my knuckles, and I reach for my weapon as the creature gathers itself. The three of us fall into an easy routine if we've been doing this together forever. Finn and Ezra keep me alert, keep it distracted, and I lay into it with every ounce of unbidden power that surges through my body. We violently clash, nothing but a flurry of frenzied movements and strikes. I swing hard at the beast, erring to stick to my typical strategy of attack, not letting the furious tempo of this battle overtake my senses. However, there is a method to its madness, and its poise and posture remain, something more than brute strength keeping it steady. When finally one of the attacks connects, the creature lets out a horrific scream, something that could bloody my ears, and it near sends me to my knees. I dial back to catch myself, vision blurring. Finn is fast, more quick and nimble than anything I've ever seen, but even he is thrown to the ground beside me. He skids to a stop as he hits the trunk of a tree already splintered by the creature's hand. Ezra calls out to me, coaxing me back into the fight as he keeps it at bay. An indecipherable display of power as vines break free from the earth and curl around its feet. It's strong, stronger than we anticipated, but more than that, despite its haggard appearance, it fights like I do. Calculated, precise, calm in a way no creature ever could be or has ever been. It fights like a hunter. Finn pulls himself to his feet with a growl, teeth bared and eyes wild. I bring my hand to my face as Ezra chants an incantation in a foreign tongue, seeing crimson leaking between my fingers, staining my skin. Finn calls to me, parrying its heavy attacks with relative ease, giving it as good as it gets, but still struggling. I find myself frozen, my breathing heavy, but everything had been laid out before me, and I curse my stupidity for not seeing it sooner. As if the creature has read my thoughts, as if it knows that I figured it out, it gives something of a smile in that grotesque maw. It lunges and pushes Finn aside with a startling display of strength. Like a mere afterthought, it heads for me, transfixed. Ezra rushes to his side, still chanting, but the creature shakes off his spells as if they were a gentle rain. Its eyes are constant on my form, long, heavy strides gaining quick momentum in my direction. Oh, sorry. I cannot move, I cannot think. It's all a haze now. The only coherent thought I have is, I'm going to die here. All I can hope is that they both make it out. It draws back its gnarled arm and I brace for impact. It's too soon for me to steel myself against the assault and I feel my body shocked with pain. Finn! No, don't get hurt! I hear a growl, something primal, something not human, and I see Finn gnashing his teeth, ready to descend. Sorry, I'm looking so respectfully, but he is not allowed to be that hot. Help! He looks otherworldly, every inch of his body screaming power, as if he's commanding the very elements everything around us illuminates, as bright as the moon that hangs high in the sky above us, brighter. Yes, Ezra! Then Ezra steps forward, a whisper, something gentle and harmonious, yet not quite of this world. His lips move at a frantic pace, the air around him aglow in a flurry of magic. He's commanding nature, everything around him at his mercy. Thank you for the hydrate check. Oh, and a quick stretch check too. Okay. The display distracts it like a moth to a deadly flame, and the creature turns to face Finn and Ezra with a sorrowful groan. At that moment there's clarity in me, my body finally recalling every ounce of training I've had throughout my life. The instincts to survive saturating every nerve, I reach for my weapon despite the numbness in my fingers. I feel stronger, movements more certain, and as I see Finn take a hit to the chest, I strike with everything I have. I drive my weapon into the back of its neck with a guttural scream. It swats at me blindly like a wild animal, trying to shake me off. It stumbles feverishly in random directions, but considerably more sluggish than before. Again, it attempts to remove the thing that will help it meet its maker, but I relent. I hold on, plunging it deeper until I can hear the sickening crack of bone. The creature's voice is smaller now, shaking and shaking, as if the life from it is finally torn asunder. It halts in its movements until it falls to its knees and pounds the dusty earth. I wait and I wait until I'm certain it's dead. Finally, there's resounding silence and I catch my breath. Try to, anyway. I look for both of them in the aftermath and I watch as Ezra guides Finn to his feet, blood running from his nose and towards the hollow of his throat. He swipes at his face with a clawed hand, licking the blood clean. His eyes remain fixed upon his blackened palm as he sucks the red from his fangs with a swipe of his tongue. Ezra talks quick and quiet in his ear, his brow drawn, and I gather that he's trying to soothe him. That's when I feel it, warm and wet and running down my ribs. Blood. I almost don't feel the pain through my feverish adrenaline, but when Finn turns and fixes me with wild eyes, I quickly take stock of my injuries.
Finn, stay with me.
Oh no. Oh yes. Is Finn experiencing a vampire feeding frenzy? This might be the icing on the top of this already delicious cake. It's the Archfey and Vampire Tumblr married couple. You know what? It is my Archfey and my Vampire Lord husbands. I am so on board with this. Yes, yes, yes. His teeth are bared in something other than that familiar handsome grin, and for the very first time my instincts tell me not to trust him, to fear him. But it's still Finn. It's still the man I've come to adore, and Ezra stands firm by his side, holding him, unafraid. I slowly press my hand over the worst wound, the one at my side. I feel the initial rush of blood, slippery against my palms as I apply pressure, Finn's nostrils flaring. Finn, it's okay. His gaze meets my own, and it's not the warm, gentle gold I'm used to, but something fathomless and dark. He takes a step towards me, and my body is screaming at me to protect myself, to fight. He flexes his fingers, his movements stuttering, and then he stops. Stephanie, you're hurt. Ezra is at my side in a flash, his hands pressed over the wound. I shake him off, convinced it's just a scratch, my eyes still on Finn, his posture remaining tense. He closes his eyes tight, his hands balled into fists at his side. He doesn't want to hurt me. He's scared he's going to hurt me. Slowly, I take another step towards him. I might be stubborn, but he wouldn't hurt me, and I know it. As I draw nearer, he grows tenser, and he turns his face away from me like he's ashamed. Finn, please. He shakes his head.
I don't want to hurt you. I'd never forgive myself.
It's okay. I know it in my heart that he won't, but that he will not.
Let us help you. We're not going anywhere.
Another step and I take stock of his own injuries, of the claw mark that cuts through his chest. It's angry and deep and apparently not healing as quickly it should. "You're hurt," says you. I think how overwhelming the smell of my blood must be to him, for it still seeps through my fingertips, dizziness taking hold. I reach out with a hand that isn't stained crimson, and I cup it to his face, feeling that familiar cold. He leans into it, a quiet, ragged purr rumbling deep in his chest as he slowly opens his eyes. There he is. The darkness is gone. The fishes of black that had trailed across his cheeks too, and now all I see is gold. Bright, beautiful Finn. I smile, letting out a quiet laugh, a sound of disbelief when I realize that we did it. You should let Ezra take a look at that. We did it. It's dead. It's over. Stephanie? Stephanie. We did it. No. Stay with us. Then everything goes black. Okay, for those of you who are just joining us, you're probably going to be very confused. We're about four streams into this game, so we're getting into the third act, or we're in the third act of the story. So just a heads up. This game is fun, spicy. It's not explicit, so it's still safe for me to stream. It's just chef's kiss, slow burn fantasy spicy, if that makes sense.
Hunter, snap out of it.
Am I dead? I coax myself out of my little daze, finding kind blue eyes staring at me. Unamused, kind blue eyes.
Are you quite finished daydreaming?
Ah, it's you two and you're not dead. I smile at him because as much as Harry tries to be annoyed with me, he's adorable when he's angry. I am Major Addington. Very sorry, sir. There's a little mouth twitch, an attempt to stifle a smile. I know him too well, and as humble as I try to be, Harold Addington III cannot resist me. Are we looking through this through James's eyes?
Stop that!
Oh, okay. I think we're currently looking at this through James's eyes at the moment. I could be wrong. Stop what? I'm not doing anything. He sighs, loud, pitiful.
Yes, you are. You're looking at me like that. How many times do I have to remind you that I'm your superior, Hunter Lane?
I feign contemplation, just twisting the knife a little more, making him squirm. Oh, maybe a few more times might do the trick. We both laugh when he swats my arm, but Harry is quick to straighten himself up, ever the professional.
I have an assignment, something out of town. It might take us a few days if we're lucky.
He looks at the papers that have been deposited on his desk, a pretty sizable pile for a simple missive by the look of it. A little getaway, just the two of us? Harry rolls his eyes, scoffing.
If you consider hunting a rogue clan of witches romantic.
Then he looks at me, eyes narrowed.
You do, don't you?
I shrug, stepping forward to push the papers from beneath his fingertips. I rest my hand upon his waist, crowding close until he has no choice but to sit on the surface of his desk. Any time spent alone with you is time that I cherish, my love. The flush that sweeps across his cheeks is charming as always, and when I lean in to brush his lips with my own, gone is the stiff formality of Enforcer General Addington, and in its place is the man that I love. My partner in all things. My soulmate. We're both in need of some time away from here, don't you think? Even if it does involve us being knee-deep in angry witches.
Sweet talk me some more, please. I don't know how I ever resisted you.
I raise an accusatory brow. You didn't. He huffs quietly, but my statement is irrefutable.
So smug.
Unconsciously, we both cast the door a glance. It's closed, and I lean in to lose myself in his kiss once again. They say that nothing lasts forever, but all that felt like to me was a lie told by people who never truly found love like I did. I knew that Harry was special when I first met him. We found a connection immediately, only to have it torn asunder when he failed the initiation. But even with an ocean between us, both of us sent on different paths, we still found our way back to one another. Wait, so have you romanced everyone? We have selected like the main romance we're doing with this, and we are in a wonderful polyamorous relationship with both Finn and Ezra, which is very nice. They are my beautiful archfey and vampire husbands. 5 years, 10 years, 15. A partnership forged out of love, trust, and strength. We were unstoppable. I'd do anything for Harry, but in the end, that's why it all began to go wrong. You shouldn't leave, not right now. Your people need you. I need you.
I have little choice. Such meetings cannot be postponed. Do not pull the I need you card. Things are under control now, James. Besides, it's just a few days. I shall be back before you know it.
His smile is as bright as it's always been, but it doesn't reach his eyes. They are cold and tired. In a way, I can't help but blame myself for Harry's recent boldness. I've always encouraged him to think outside the box, to stop being so rigid when it comes to following the rules. And now... Please, Harry, this has to stop. He averts his gaze, twisting his wedding band nervously. I know you think you're doing the right thing, but it's not worth it. None of this is worth it. I step closer, taking both of his hands in my own and tugging at him to look at me. He refuses, still staring longingly out of the window. I love you too much to let this destroy you. Think of everything you've achieved. Would you throw that all away just to make some numbers look good?
It's not about numbers, and you know it. It is about saving people's lives. About stopping those things from overwhelming us until we're nothing but...
He pauses, closing his eyes. Then he carefully pries his hands from mine.
It's about doing what I swore to do. Fulfilling my duty as protector of this country. Protecting you.
I can protect myself. Harry flinches at my words, exhaling sharply.
We will discuss this further upon my return, but I must go. The carriage will be waiting for me.
Do not share this, Harry. You're further away from perfecting it than you think, and you know it. At that he smiles, shaking his head. He steps close to cup his hand to my jaw.
You've always underestimated me, my love.
He kisses me, and something about the way he does so makes me believe it's for the last time. After Harry's departure, I sat at our kitchen table and wrote him a letter before my nightly patrol. I knew it wouldn't make it to him before his meeting. In fact, I wasn't even going to send it. I just had a feeling. My dearest Harry, as much as I love to muse about how I long for you to return, to lay with me in our bed, I'm afraid this letter comes with a less light-hearted message. I'm worried. These experiments are troubling me, and I've been unable to sleep soundly since you showed me last week. I fear something terrible will happen that we won't be able to hide, that you won't be able to recover from. What did he do? Is this really what they cursed all of us with all these years ago? I always knew we were different, that something within us made us stronger, but... Children, Harry. We were children. Think about that before you continue with this. Think about their intentions and why no one has attempted this before. I'll be leaving for a hunt this evening, missing you every step of the way, my power dulled without you standing strong by my side. All I ask of you is that you slow down, perfect things before you dare to implement your plan. I'm not sure how much longer I can sit back and watch, just waiting for it all to go wrong. I love you, and I just want my husband back. We can make it through anything as long as we have each other. Always yours, James. The graveyard is peaceful. The air is cool and the sky clear. The crunch of gravel under my boots is strangely comforting, and I feel a sense of calm washing over me as I stop in front of a newly placed headstone. I crouch down, tracing the carved letters with my fingertips. James Addington Lane, brave hunter, loving husband, cherished friend. I haven't seen this yet. I stand, my vision blurring. There's a searing yet familiar pain in my temple as I turn and I see a tall figure before me, silhouetted by bright moonlight. They would put the hunter part first, wouldn't they? James steps closer, standing by my side and sparing his graver glance. Okay, I think now we're back to my perspective. The second you become a hunter, it trumps everything else. You're not even really considered a human first anymore. Am I dead? I look at James, studying his features, registering that he's here, flesh and bone and alive. Or am I dead? He shakes his head. No, but you're somewhere in between. Just like me. Just like you? I look down and press my hand over my ribs, and it comes away crimson. My armor is jagged and torn, my clothes saturated with blood. When I look back at James, his brow is furrowed, and I see a shadow emerging from the blackened tree line behind him. A familiar sight, lumbering, misshapen, not human. It's behind you. Yet my words are monotone, though I intended for them to be a warning. My throat feels tight and I'm once again stuck where I stand. He shakes his head, ignoring the looming threat, his dark eyes focused on me and me alone. It's not real. You killed him, after all. Him? You simply did what I couldn't, what I should have done. I froze. I was too afraid to hurt someone I knew. Oh no. As a hunter, you know you cannot hesitate, cannot second guess. If you do, people die. He's right. They teach us to be ruthless in our decisions. Excuse me. If it can kill you, you kill it first. It thrilled me. I thought that was how it got you. He shakes his head. I saw. He pauses, mouth agape as if he wants to say it, but something stops him. You saved them, Stephanie, though your job isn't done just yet. I stare at him blankly, trying to comprehend where I am, why he's here, just everything. Thanks for the stretch check. Thank you. Why do they do this to us? What do they do to us? He simply smiles. It's somber, almost pained. It's easier if I show you. Magic time. I stare up the familiar building that are now before me, a bitter taste blooming upon my tongue. I grew up here, learned how to kill here, how to survive. They promised us the world, said we'd be heroes. As a naive child, I might have even believed them, and yet, in reality, we're nothing but pawns. Feels different now, doesn't it? I was so excited to be chosen. Most of us are. They make it feel like passing the initiation is some kind of coveted honor. If not an honor, then what? James looks down at his hands, turning his palms skyward. I see scars not unlike the ones that cover my own skin, and he looks back up. A curse. Suddenly the sky turns an inky black. The moon is full, hanging low, and the stars are sparse but bright. With a heavy sigh, James turns to me. Are you ready? Ready for what? To finally find out hunters are really made. Oh no, I'm going to save because it feels like bad things are gonna happen. I think back to the comment Finn made the other day, smiling to myself. I heard that we grow on trees. James laughs. If only they were that simple, Stephanie. What do you remember of your initiation? I stare at him blankly, my memories non-existent past waking up in my bed the next day. Feeling stronger, feeling different, feeling better. He tilts his head at me, smiling. As I suspected, they're very good at making you forget what they need you to, aren't they? You would have been taken into the courtyard at night, right here where we stand, and then they would have asked you to take your oath, to pledge yourself to the cause. A witch would have offered you a vial of something which they'd expect you to ingest. I looked down at my hand, something cold appearing in my palm. A vial, just as James said. The liquid inside is black, viscous, and glowing. I remember, I think. They say that those that fail experience a great discomfort, vomiting, convulsions, though it's still a mystery that what makes us different from them. I uncorked the vial, bring the mixture to my nose. It smells bitter, like copper. I close my eyes, my heart pounding. Then the words roll off my tongue as if possessed. I swear that no night will be traversed in fear, that morning will be a promise and not a hope. I swear I shall lay down my life in the cause of my duty, to protect the vulnerable from the creatures of this realm and any beyond it. Until my final breath, I pledge myself to you, body, mind, and soul. Then I remember the way it tasted, the way it made me retch and fall to my knees. I dug my fingers into the dirt until they bled, my skin cracked and my nails split. It burned my throat, and my body fought hard to reject it, but I lost. When I opened my eyes, the vial was gone. Not dead, nor not of the living, bind them and reveal to them the strength of ascension. We summon you to reach your wizened hands to them. Let them be the vessel that will carry us onward. It is written that this power is our right to wield. Give to their body what separates man from the vulnerability of the flesh. Be that which may push the boundaries of our mortal coil. The blood of the vampire, creatures of the night, consumer of life, impart your keen awareness and resilience, but not the shun of the light nor endless of life. Oh no. We drank vampire blood. Oh no. Finn's gonna be pissed. Oh no. The blood of the Fae, tricksters incarnate, denizens between realms, impart your cunning and agile grace, but leave your weakness to the elements. We drank all of the monster blood. The blood of the demon, purveyors of evil, guardians of the realms, impart your strength, but not your anger. The blood of the lichen, predators under the moon, beasts of instinct, impart your primal power, but not the madness within. Blood. Why does it always have to be fucking blood? So we drank blood from essentially everyone that is like a romance, almost everyone that's a romance option, because I have a feeling Ezra's got Fae aspects to him. And there's also vampire and lichen and demon. Oh no. We just had our own little fun, little occult cocktail. Oh goody. My hands shake, my breathing quickening, and James watches me with a concerned gaze as the realization washes over me. I'm just like them. We all are. The things that we were trained to kill are a part of us. They made us monsters. He nods, and I gather it's been a burden, knowledge that he's carried for far too long. Fight fire with fire, as they say. A simple human wouldn't stand a chance against the beasts we face. The early hunters were true warriors who fought and died too quickly for us to stand a chance. An order was formed, people who had known of the creatures' existence before the day of revelation, people who had befriended them, worshipped them even. They formed the agency, the first enforcers. They studied the way vampires can infect us, the way lichens can curse us. It's simple biology, a touch of magic, and they have a carefully curated weapon on their hands. I do not know how long it took them to perfect it, and I dread to think how many lives were lost. And it was truly only a matter of time until someone took it too far. I just never thought it would happen in the place I call home. I look at him and he waits expectantly, watching me with a furrowed brow. Someone in Lunaris. Slowly all the pieces begin to fall into place. Fiero, Alcar, Aya, Azazel. creatures captured needlessly, hunters missing and dying. Ava Sapphic, thank you so much for the follow. You are now one of my lovely Lost Tales, and you are welcome at the Blue Rose Respite anytime. Take a seat. I hope you're enjoying yourself. Just a heads up, if you were planning on playing this game yourself, we are like right in the thick of like the big reveal of the game, so just a heads up. Creatures captured needlessly, hunters missing and dying. Oh god. I need to go back. I need to find out who and stop them. To protect... I ball my hands into fists, my heart a hammer in my chest, my head spinning. Something is wrong. James reaches out with wide eyes, but his hand passes through me. Breathe, Stephanie. My vision blurs and I feel everything around me falling away into darkness. Something is calling out to me, a force pulling and tugging, violent in its desire to bring me back. James. He looks defeated, but he stands a little taller, though he still smiles and my heart aches for him. Our fallen hero killed simply for being kind. You have so much left to do. It's not your time, not yet. Of all the wrong he's done, he did well in choosing you, Hunter Swan. You've made me proud, made all of them proud. It would have been such an honor to fight at your side. Oh, James, you're so nice. James stands stoic and stalwart. I'm not certain where I am, and yet he remains with poise, somewhere in between and still as strong as he was when he was living. Something tells me he's waiting. For what, I'm not entirely sure, but I hope that whatever it is, he finds it. His peace, maybe? Tell Harry that I love him. Then, with a smile, he slowly fades away. When I wake, I find gold and green staring me down. Ezra's warm hands are upon me in an instant, pushing me back against the mattress when I try to sit.
Don't move. Let me check you over.
My boys, thank you. I do as I'm told, smiling as Finn takes my hand and squeezes tightly. I've never been more grateful to see them. Did you enjoy your nap? I shrug, and Ezra tuts at me, his hands glowing a brilliant green as he passes them over my torso. You're fine. As good as new, actually. They share a fond look before casting their gaze upon me once again. Not everyone gets the best healer in Eskira as their own personal doctor, you know, Stephanie. A quiet moment passes between us, and then I crumble. I quickly sit up, despite Ezra's quiet protests, wrapping an arm around each of them, just needing to feel them close. Finn holds us both so tightly that I can barely breathe, but I can't find it in me to mind. It feels too good to know that we're all here. We've been so worried. I curl my fingers in the fabric of Finn's shirt, nuzzling my face against the warm crook of Ezra's neck. They feel so good. Alive. They reluctantly pull away, but their hands remain upon me, Ezra tenderly cupping my face, Finn's hand settling upon my waist. Almost as if they can't bear to be away from me, not even an inch.
I truly couldn't figure out why you wouldn't wake.
I had a hell of a time getting him to rest, you know?
Finn's mattress is so soft beneath me, his sheets warm, and I couldn't possibly feel any safer despite the persistent dread that swells in the pit of my stomach. I'm sorry I worried you. You know it'll take more than a flesh wound to get rid of me, though. Ezra smiles, his thumb brushing over the apple of my cheek. Our brave hunter. Or stubborn, I suppose. How long have I been out?
2 days. Ezra did an excellent job of healing you, but we just couldn't get you to wake up.
I was enjoying taking a much-needed nap, okay? Finn raises an accusatory brow at the witch, but Ezra ignores him.
Do you feel okay?
As they speak, I reach to press a hand over my ribs, to the place where blood had soaked my palms, where that thing had struck me. I feel no pain, not even an ache, and only one thing plagues my mind. Did we really do it? Is it really dead? Finn and Ezra share a smile, both of them shifting a little closer to me.
You did it. And you were incredible.
Sorry, I'm definitely blushing at this. This is wonderful. I suspect I'm going to meet some resistance in making them both take some of the credit. Having them at my side undoubtedly made killing that thing possible. We did it. Together. Melody, thank you so much for the follow. You are now one of my lovely Lost Tales, and welcome to the Blue Rose Respite. I hope you've all been enjoying this stream so far. Finn offers me a toothy grin, a playful thing as he forces a heavy, dramatic sigh. We merely assisted. You're a force to be reckoned with, Stephanie. I know, darling. It didn't stand a fucking chance. And now the bad guy is gone, so you can finally rest. Bad guy. I think about what James said. You killed him. I half a quiet laugh, and I wonder if I truly have gone mad this time. Conversations with the voice in my head was bad enough, but now he's taking me on a cryptic trip down memory lane too. I don't think that the creature was the bad guy. Not even close. Just a pawn. Finn narrows his eyes at me, and I wonder if my thoughts are loud enough for him to hear. Ezra takes both of my hands in his own, fixing my gaze. I couldn't help but notice you stirring while you slept. I couldn't pull you from your slumber no matter what I tried. Something happened, didn't it? I bite my lip contemplating that. I want to be honest with them, and maybe they can help me to make some sense of what I saw. I'm not sure if you'd believe me if I told you. They exchange a gentle look. How about you try us? We've lived in Lunaris long enough to be immune to most weirdness, Stephanie. I take a deep breath, Ezra's thumb brushing over the back of my hand, soothing me. I had a dream, I think. It might have been something more. James was there, really there. We spoke, and he showed me what I think were his memories. Some of mine, too. Okay. Because I have a feeling we're going to be able to say both of these, but I'm just going to prioritize. I have to talk about the initiation first. I saw the academy, my academy. It felt so real, like I was 12 years old again. James took me through the initiation. I had forgotten everything, almost as if my memory had been wiped. Finn scoffs, squeezing my hand. I wouldn't be surprised if they did such a thing. Ezra listens intently, and I watch them, gauging their reactions as my next words still from my mouth. The ritual, they fed us blood. Vampire, demon, lichen, fae. That's what made me what I am. Finn doesn't falter. His unnatural stillness doesn't usually bother me, but in this moment I need a reaction from him. Ezra's eyes are sad as he processes the information, and for a moment I feel pitied. But as always, they both surprise me. Nothing could ever make you less human. Do you understand? This game gets it. The unconditional support. They get it. I laugh, unsurprised that he could be so right, that he could tell exactly what I'm feeling, thinking. Thanks for the hydrate check.
We care for you no matter what. Nothing could ever change that.
I'm so sorry that they did that to you. I take a deep breath, and they each place a hand upon my knee, grounding me. It would take some time to process, but as long as I have you both by my side. Finn frowns, clearly frustrated. They have no right. Hey Finn, turns out we both have a thing for blood. I mean, you're not wrong. This game's absolutely amazing because it's basically teaching people what kind of people they need in their life. Honestly, Talon, this game is absolutely amazing because, yes, while there's, some spicy moments of, supernatural wonderfulness, the core of it, the emotion of it, is, what you genuinely want in a good, healthy relationship. I also saw Harry and James together, almost as if James was trying to tell me something by showing me pieces of his memories of them. James wrote Harry a letter the night he died, and they argued prior to that. James kept asking him to think... Oh, excuse me. Oh, I'm surprisingly sleepy tonight. James kept asking him to think about what he was doing. I got the impression he holds a lot of guilt over what happened, and he told me that he should have killed the creature when he had the chance. Something made him hesitate. That isn't like James, not in the slightest. Like all hunters, he always knew that hesitation means death. I nod, remembering James's words, his disappointment in himself. The thing that killed him, or the person that killed him, he knew them. That's why he hesitated. That's why he died. Oh no, poor James. Finn drags his iron palm over his face, disbelief clouding his features. We sit in silence for a moment, but eventually Finn breaks it with some good news. While you rested, we rescued Fiyero. It went well, but they haven't even bothered to come looking for him.
I find it so strange that they don't seem to care. They lost a supposedly valuable prisoner, and yet they do nothing?
I'm glad Fiyero's out of there, though. Exactly. They know where he is. They're not complete and utter morons, I think. They could very well be onto us.
They could, and after what you've just told me, I can't help but think that's why they held him. To make more of whatever nasty concoction they fed you. To make more hunters.
I can't be certain, but everything James said makes me believe it runs so much deeper than that. Surely they haven't gathered the blood in such violent manner all this time. Surely they have deals or something. I feel like it runs so much deeper than that. They both smile at me, a little reassurance amongst all this uncertainty. Then, a thought. Finn has been around for centuries, since before the Order was even a concept. Do you remember the first hunters, Finn? He averts his gaze, his eyes suddenly sad, and I get the horrible feeling that I've said something wrong. It's okay, Finnegan. Ezra bites his lip and pointedly takes Finn's hand, holding it between both of his own. I do, yes. I was in a clear on Revelation Day, where it all began.
I'm not sure if they were true hunters then, or even when the Order was truly formed, but they were just normal humans. They fought, and most of them died. Maybe that's why they sought to find something to make them stronger.
Because they wouldn't stand a chance against you otherwise. He smiles sadly, shaking his head. No, they wouldn't. But they put up a bloody good fight. That's why Levi and I fled and came here. Ezra flinches at the mention of Finn's sire's name. What about me? Could you tell something was wrong with me? Quickly, Finn dips his head to catch my gaze, his brow deeply furrowed.
It's always been obvious that you're different. Normal humans don't have your ability, stamina, and all the other little quirks that make you you. Even then, we've never thought of you as monsters. There's never been even the slightest inkling that you were created in that way. That should tell you all you need to know about what you are. There is nothing wrong with you. You are still human. Every bit of you.
I love you too, Finn. I love this game so much. Ezra clears his throat and chimes in, still holding Finn tight.
That should tell you all you need to know about what you are. You're no monster.
The way they look at me. I know that they speak the truth, but that neither of them would ever lie to me about such a thing. It doesn't make me feel any better about what I've learned about myself, but it's a start. Then, as I look a little closer, I can't help but notice that Finn looks a little different. Now that my head is clear, I see the macabre petals of purple that bloom beneath his eyes. Something that vampires certainly shouldn't have unless... Then I remember the creature striking him, the glimpse of a claw mark under his shirt. I reach out and Finn flinches, his palm pressed firmly over his chest, the other curling around my wrist. I'm fine. He's lying. I look at Ezra, and he's also staring at Finn, confused and reaching for his shirt. Reluctantly, he lets Ezra unbutton it, and he peels the dark fabric off his broad shoulders so he can study the obvious wound. No! But yes! But no! But yes! Thank you. I'm just gonna let this moment linger and I'm just gonna do a quick hydrate check myself. I think I did about 6 hydrate checks there. It's shallow, but something has quite clearly stopped it from healing as quickly as it should, if at all. The skin that surrounds it is red and angry, and dark fishes are stark against pale white. Thank you for the stretch check and the hydrate check, guys. Finnegan. Ezra's fingertips glow a pale, shimmering green, but Finn carefully grabs his wrist, his magic fading upon contact.
No, you're still weak. You need rest. I will not have you making yourself sick when someone else might need you far more than me.
That thing was no normal creature. You could get sick. Ezra pries his hand from Finn's grip with a huff, and it's the first time I've truly seen him look angry. It's already infected. You're a fool to not tell me. Finn isn't stupid, and I know that he's aware of the implications of leaving such a wound untreated, but apparently his stubbornness knows no bounds when it comes to keeping us both safe. I reach out and flatten my palm over the place where his heart should beat, and I feel nothing. He smiles sadly and takes my hand, his skin soft against my own, and without hesitation, he's lacing our fingers together, squeezing tightly. Don't worry about me, I'll be fine. The candles that surround us flicker gently, and I almost forget where we are as I watch the way the light dances across his face, his features sharp. He catches my gaze, those golden eyes bright and disarming as they meet my own. I've learned many things about vampires in my time as a hunter, but even a fool could deduce what Finn requires. Ezra takes the words right out of my mouth.
If you won't let me heal you, you need to feed.
It's a statement, not a question, and Finn's expression quickly shifts into something stoic. It was truly only a matter of time before this came up. The reality of dating a vampire, I suppose. Who do you usually feed from? Ezra's eyes widen briefly, his cheeks turning a delightful shade of red, and he's answered my question. Finn huffs a quiet laugh when he sees, turning to address me to save Ezra the obvious embarrassment. I stopped hunting properly when I met Ezra, though I had little choice being bedridden after my little incident. He glances down at his prosthetic. The magic that flows through it pulses as he spreads and closes his fingers, turning his palm in which what I've come to notice is a habit of his.
After he saved me, I could no longer bear the thought of hurting someone like him. He changed my life. Saved my life. He agreed to allow me to feed on him, so that I wouldn't have to seek that elsewhere and risk hurting anyone.
He looks at me expectantly, almost as if he's waiting for me to run away. I look at Ezra, my eyes settling upon 2 perfect puncture marks upon the column of his throat, tactfully hidden beneath his high collar. I did notice that in the art where Ezra is all magicked up and everything, because he is facing in the other direction, the other side of his neck that's facing away from us now, that's where the puncture marks are. So can't get away with everything, can you, Ezra? So not just a fashion choice, I assume.
Witch's blood is potent. It keeps us sustained for a lot longer than any normal human would, which means I didn't need to feed that often. But I haven't fed for months, and with everything that's been going on recently, I need to feed. But I'm not leaving your side.
Oh, I know where this is going. Please, please let this be going where I hope it's going.
You haven't fed in months.
Yes! Yes! Okay! We need to focus. This game just keeps on giving. Okay. I'm doing my hydrate checks now because I know they're coming. I'm doing the checks now so then I can just proceed and focus on what's coming next, okay? I feel the words rolling off my tongue before I've even finished my next thought. Tell me what it's like. Both Finn and Ezra's eyes widen almost comically, but Finn composes himself far faster. What it feels like? I nod. Finn swallows thickly, almost as if the action pains him, like thinking about it has made him realize just how hungry he is. For both of you. He looks at Ezra, holding his gaze, both of us watching the way his cheeks continue to darken. They both exhale sharply, gazes fixed and held.
The way I feel when I feed on someone I'm close with is... it's something euphoric. Like, in that moment, nobody else exists but them and I can feel everything they feel, everything they want. Like we've become one.
Yes, okay. I'm just gonna save this. Continue.
It's indescribable.
He reaches up and carefully cups his hand to Ezra's jaw, the witch practically melting under his touch. Then he turns to me and reaches for my hand. I go willingly, shifting closer and watching as his eyes darken. It's the most subtle of shifts, but I see it. I committed his features to memory long before tonight. His expression is definitely, like Finn's expression is definitely spicier than we've seen before, I think. I want that with you. I want you to feed on me. He bites his lip, his fingers twitching against my own as he watches me intently. He's probably waiting for me to falter, to take back my words, but I mean it. You trust me, after what you saw in the forest? I quickly glance at Ezra, and he nods, smiling softly. I do trust him, both of them, implicitly, and it terrifies me. I do. They both smile, and the flash of Rin's razor-sharp fangs that I'm granted sends a shiver rolling down my spine. The sight of them is strangely thrilling, a confirmation that the fear that's been so ingrained in me is long dead. Ezra doesn't fear him, and he's clearly at ease with Finn feeding on him, so... We unconsciously edge closer to one another, the mattress creaking under the shift of our bodies. Finn reaches out, dragging his finger down the tense column of my throat, and I tilt my head in invitation to expose my neck. Ezra watches, his breathing quickening, his eyes hooded. Finn pauses and looks me dead in the eyes. I need to hear you say it again. I unbutton my shirt, pulling it off my shoulders and show him that I mean this. Take whatever you need. It's yours. He groans quietly, leaning in to catch my lips with his own in the briefest of kisses before he begins his descent, running his nose along the edge of my jaw, breathing me in. I've never felt so exposed, like a frayed nerve, and at the same time I've never wanted anything more in my life. To be marked, to be his, theirs. Ezra moves closer and takes my hand, Finn pressed tight between us.
Just breathe. It'll only hurt for a second. Keep your eyes on me.
I nod, focusing on vivid emeralds as Finn litters my skin with reverent kisses. He's gentle in his build-up, and then I feel his fangs gently graze the tense column of my throat, his fingers tight where they grip my waist, almost as if he's holding back. It's in that moment that I realize just how much I really do want this, my body singing for him, for both of them. Please. I push my fingers into his hair, the soft ink-black strands snarling around my fingertips. Ezra leans in, our noses brushing, our lips but a breath apart. Finn growls softly, and then he bites me. As he does, Ezra crushes his mouth to mine, and through the pain of Finn's bite is quick, hot, blinding. The penetration is fleetingly resistant as his fangs sink into my flesh with a quiet pop. The ache fades quickly, and my pulse flickers wildly as he saps the blood from my veins. I've never felt more alive, and it's like I can feel his every thought, his every desire. A perfect lilting chorus of my name on repeat in his mind. Stephanie, Stephanie, Stephanie. I moan, the noise breaking as it crashes against Ezra's lips, and suddenly I can feel Finn everywhere. He pulls away faster than I expected, and strangely I almost miss the pain. He soothes the marks with his tongue, lapping at any stray droplets that coat my overheated skin. I sit back, and both their eyes meet mine. The sight of them snatches the breath from my lungs. Finn's lips parted, fangs bared and painted crimson. Blood. My blood. Ezra wipes it away with a brush of his thumb, pushing the digit between Finn's lips so he can suck it clean. I am screaming, I'm crying, I'm throwing up. This is perfection. I am just so happy right now. Gone is the purple beneath his eyes, and before me lies Finn in all his perfection. Ezra draped over him, blushing and beautiful. He nods, and I know he heard me, my thoughts screaming and unavoidable. I can't believe they're mine.
Yes. Yours.
I'm fine. I'm a blushing mess right now. I made it through that scene with all the composure of a professional. That's what got me. Then Finn is kissing me, the faintest taste of copper warm upon his tongue as it eagerly glides against my own.
You taste like heaven.
I'm fine. I'm so fine. Ezra moves so he's sitting behind me on his knees, his thighs bracketing my waist, and suddenly I'm surrounded, 2 pairs of hands upon me, touching me and all too ready to pull me apart. I drag my palms down Finn's bare chest, through the smattering of dark hair, and I register that his wound is healed. My senses are thrown into overdrive, everything that little bit brighter, so vivid I feel like I'm about to burst with the newness of it. My fingers trace every perfect dip and curve of his muscles, every previously unnoticeable scar, wanting to know the story behind each perfect sliver of imperfect skin, to know who marked him and why. Then Ezra says my name, his lips in my throat, right where Finn marked me, and it feels like the world has stopped turning. Stephanie. Yes. Okay, I am ready, because I don't think this game gets into uncensored territory. But come on, guys. This is happening. If it does feel like it's transitioning towards a spicier still that could get my channel in trouble, I'm going to go to the BRB screen. And I'm sorry if that's a bit of a buzzkill, but it's just to make sure my channel doesn't get taken down, okay? Okay. Let us continue. I hope that the way I'm looking at them can convey what I want, what I crave, and the way they both press closer to me tells me that it might. In a low, addictive tone, Ezra whispers,
Tell us what you need.
You. I need you. Finn carefully pushes me backwards until I'm laying flush against Ezra's chest. Then, with a quiet growl, he drags his hands over my ribs, stomach, waist, hips. He then undresses Ezra, peeling away his layers and letting them tumble, forgotten upon the floor. He hooks his thumbs in the waistband of my underwear and lifts my hips to assist in their removal. I don't know how far this gets. So, until it gets to genuinely not safe for work territory, and then I'm sorry, I'm going to have to cut to the BRB screen I'm sorry if, like, to disappoint you guys if that's the case. I just need to make sure my channel doesn't get taken down. I'm just gonna save quickly. Just in case. We're finally flush, bare skin pressed to bare skin, and Finn finds Ezra's lips over my shoulder. Their hands rove endlessly over my body, over each other, both of them so talented and attentive in their ministrations. Finn's next words are a whisper, his eyes bright and earnest as he sits back to look at us.
So beautiful.
I carefully study him for a quiet moment, my chest heaving and Ezra's breath warm against my skin. When I look at them, I see two people that I trust. Two people who, no matter what, I know will be there for me. Without fail, without question. Life is so uncertain, and yet in Finn and Ezra, I found something solid, something so real that it scares me. Okay, this is fine. In this moment, I finally realize
I love you both so much.
I love you too. He took the words right out of my mouth.
I love you.
I exhale sharply when Finn moves in to rest his forehead against mine, and Ezra holds me a little tighter, one of his hands reaching out, his thumb grazing over the perfect plush curve of Finn's lips. I allow myself to bask in their presence, just drowning in the feel of them. I love you too. A quiet moment passes between us, and then Ezra kisses Finn again, softer this time, but quickly transforms into something hungry and unquestionably urgent. Something flickers between him and Ezra when their eyes lock. Ezra moves beside him, both of them in front of me.
I want to make you feel good.
Okay, I feel so bad for everyone else who also loves Fenris from Dragon Age 2, because I can tell that this is scratching an itch that you thought would never be scratched, and I have a feeling this game is just saying, you're welcome. Oh, if someone redeemed that voice chat, I'd ban them straight out. Straight out ban them from my channel. Let me have this, okay? Yes. Finn smiles, his fangs sharp, his eyes bright. Ezra raises his hand, clicks his fingers, and the candles that light the room flicker and fade out, leaving us in darkness. What happens next is like a dance, this deadly, precise thing that I can only lay witness to when they both ascend. I swear that Finn times the daily toll of his hips and the rapid thrum of mine, and Ezra's heart beats, everything in sync. The flutter of our eyelids and fingers that fist the sheets as sensations overwhelm us. Look at him. Finn orders and I obey, his iron fingers gripping Ezra's curls as he tips his head with a careful tug, and I don't know how I could ever look away. Every intense sensation seems to dissolve into a perfect crescendo, and I breathe heavily through clenched teeth, biting back noises I know I'll likely be embarrassed about later. Close. Finn and Ezra exchange a glance, maybe even a thought, and Ezra crawls forward and settles upon his knees before me, close enough that I can feel his warm breath against my lips.
Together.
He says it as a whisper and offers me an inviting smile followed by a kiss, one that's all tongue, decidedly sloppy, and deliciously dirty. Finn reaches up, splaying a big palm flat against the center of my chest, right over the erratic thrum of my heartbeat, so he can feel what he and Ezra do to me. It's teamwork at its finest, at its most deadly. Ezra greedily swallows my groan as I'm pushed over the edge and into a state of blissful numbness, and I return the favor as he swiftly follows. fingertips rasping against the sweat-slick skin, the gentle creak of the headboard as we fall apart piece by piece. I could feel pressing close, his fingers digging a little harder into my hips, an almost primal growl rumbling deep in his chest as he joins us in our release. The moments that follow are seen through a glossy haze, and I feel like I'm in a dream, the sensory overload leaving me breathless. I idly wonder how life could ever possibly get boring with these two around. Them and I joined as one, both in their name falling from my lips like a prayer, until they're the only words I think I'll ever need. I think I may have found heaven. I'm not apologizing, Scarlett. I'm not apologizing. The last 20 minutes have just been pure spice. Chat, because safe words, chat, sound off everyone who's not dead and who's okay, okay? And no, if anyone redeems that voice request, I'm ignoring it. I am the streamer, I am this motherfucking Seraph of Stories. I can run this stream however I choose. And no, this is not the time for that. Thank you for the hydrate check, Melody. I wake sandwiched between two perfect opposites, hot and cold, lightness and dark. My body thrums with awareness, their proximity almost overwhelming, and everything feels different. I know Finn doesn't sleep, and I'm fully aware that he'll know when I'm awake, so when I feel a cool hand reaching to brush my hair from my face, I smile. Good morning. His voice is a delicious, raspy whisper, sending a shiver rolling down my spine. I open my eyes to look at him, and it's almost annoying how good he looks. Flawless, in fact. I reach out to brush my thumb over the skin underneath his eyes, the discoloration gone, not an imperfection in sight. Your eyes are still gold. He leans into my touch, long, dark lashes fluttering closed. I suppose you're just as special as I always assumed, then. Not human, you mean? He carefully catches my wrist, those bright eyes flying open to meet my gaze. Then he shakes his head, a devastating smile hooking the corners of his mouth.
Human, just different.
You're Stephanie. I smile at the simplicity of the statement. I suppose I am. Our voices are still quiet, but I feel Ezra shifting behind me, his warmth keenly felt as he presses closer. Finn's eyes light up at the sight of his curly head and bright green eyes peeking over my shoulder.
Ah, he rises at last. Good morning, Angel.
Ezra blinks slowly, clearly not a morning person.
Morning.
Finn laughs at the way one of his cheeks squishes against my shoulder, reaching out to attempt to tame some of his wild curls. Oh yeah, Scarlett, it was a full-on... There was some blood drinking and some healing of hearts and some words of comfort and affirmation and all of us just feeling so loved and so respected, and it was just chef's kiss, delicious perfection. But nothing explicit. It's all good. I just really sold it with the voice acting. It's a futile effort, but he still looks gorgeous.
Why are you awake so early when we can't even see the sun down here?
Though the sun doesn't paint Finn's bed, there seems to be a constant supply of stubby candles dotted about the room, casting all of us in a dreamy golden glow. It serves both men particularly well, highlighting Finn in all of that deathly sharp angles and making Ezra seem even warmer somehow. Then, a horrible realization snaps me from my daze and I break free from the tangle of sheets and limbs. Wait, what time is it? They both sit a little straighter, but there's no urgency in their movements. Hi. Oh, this is perfect. This is perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Mwah. They have been feeding us tonight, and I love this game. It's barely dawn. Why? You're not planning on running off on us so soon, are you? Ezra's words calm me, and I look at what I've mistakenly torn myself away from. Finn's arm is slung possessively around Ezra, his hand resting upon the curve of his waist. I can see his fingers twitching, almost as if the effort to not touching him more is painful for him. Come back to us, Stephanie. We have time. Plenty of it. I exhale sharply, my eyes drawn to the way Ezra's freckled cheeks darken, a smirk hooking the corners of his mouth. Oh my god! Are you fucking kidding me? We can go round 2 with this, are you kidding me? I just... There is not enough water in the world to hydrate what I'm feeling right now. Yo, you know I'm gonna do it. You absolutely know I'm gonna do it. Fucking fuck. Okay. 1 second. Don't judge me. Well, how long do you want to leave August worry? August! Like, we killed the creature. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. It was not fine. Okay. It shouldn't lead into any more explicit territory than it already has. Just a nice little cut to black. Let's pass the time then. I can't help but feel like their prey, the hunted, the way they look at me, bright eyes roaming my form like a caress, ready to strike. And I'm all too willing to let them devour me. I fall into place between them, and it doesn't take them long to pull me back into that little slice of heaven we found together last night, curled up beneath these very sheets. An expanse of tantalizingly bared, warm, russet skin calls to me, and I reach out, running my fingers over the constellation of freckles that sweep across Ezra's shoulders. Finn joins me, and both of us lavish Ezra with the attention he so thoroughly deserves, enjoying the way he practically purrs under our ministrations. Whatever did I do to deserve such attentive lovers? He smiles when Finn brushes his lips over the juncture of my throat, the place where he drank from me last night. Finn curls his fingers in the sheet over my heart as if seeking out its beat. It sings for him, a helpless flutter every time he touches me, every time he's near. What he said about feeding on someone is true. There's a new familiarity between us now, almost as if I can anticipate his next move, his thoughts. Ezra feels it too, I can tell. It's almost as if there's this perfect connection between the three of us, and Finn is our anchor. Wasting time with both of you has quickly become my favorite activity. We take it in turns to kiss one another, savoring the moment before we move on, and each kiss melts so effortlessly into the next, slow, warm, and with the barest hint of a shiver. Then Ezra pushes Finn back against the headboard, and we both ascend. The dark sheets fall away, and all that remains is the delicate drag of iron fingers as they trace the dip and curve of my spine. The mood easily shifts from sensual to something desperate, and it feels like nothing can touch us while we're ensconced in the quiet darkness of the catacombs. Finn's laugh is dripping with sin when we arch against him, my thoughts loud, detailed. Finn may be undead, but he makes Ezra and I feel more alive than we ever thought possible. Losing myself in them has become second nature, the way we fit together a beautiful and dangerous thing. Dangerous because I can't see how I could ever tear myself away from the impossible comfort of their arms. That is until the door creaks open. Finn groans through clenched teeth when he sees the culprit, or culprits, and Ezra cups a hand over his mouth to stifle a giggle, clearly all too familiar with such an interruption. What do you two want? Hi, guys. You're new. Two figures emerge from the darkness of the corridor, wide eyes peeking around the door frame. Sorry, Finn. She insisted you were alone. Raven squeals with delight as the blonde-haired girl firmly elbows her in the ribs. So, fun night? She waggles her eyebrows suggestively, and Finn hurls a pillow at her, a poorly stifled smile curling at the corner of his lips. What? Everyone in this game is so hot. Help! Nice to see you in the darkest depths again, Angel. I knew it was only a matter of time before Finn lured you back down here. I missed you too, Raven. This, less so. She winks at him, and they share a warm smile.
Unless there's a life or death reason that you're here, then I kindly ask you to get the fuck out.
I love my fae and vampire husband so much. Raven pouts, stepping closer and dragging the other girl by the arm. Don't be rude, Finnegan. I wanted to introduce Stephanie to Lux. Finn rolls his eyes hard and turns to look at me. I shrug because, well, it's not like it would do any harm, and I do find myself growing terribly fond of Raven. It's very nice to meet you, Lux. She smiles at me empathetically, clearly used to these two strange creatures, and she shakes my hand with a firm grip. I'm just sitting there in bed with like the blankets pulled up over myself, just introducing myself to this new person, like, hi, this isn't weird, not at all. It's lovely to meet you too. I've heard a lot about you. I apologize for this. Hi, Ezra. Ezra waves at her, a gesture beyond adorable. Raven snorts, playfully nipping at Lux's earlobe. Lux swats her away with an exasperated grumble, her freckled cheeks painted pink. Anyway, we're going to bed. Graveyard shift life and all that. You noisy kids have fun, won't you? Toodles! Lux smiles at us once more, waving politely as she's yanked out of the doorway. I can hear her scolding Raven in the corridor, but their joint laughter echoes off the old stone as their voices disappear. Well, Finn flops back against the mattress and sighs dramatically and unnecessarily. Ezra settles against his side, an arm slung over his trim waist. And here I was, thinking that my days of your clan members seeing my backside were long dead. Finn grunts, pressing a kiss against his temple. They're very fond of you, of both of you. That means there'll be no getting rid of them.
You've probably come to expect such things now, I suppose. I do apologize for, that, though.
It's fine, it's fine. It's fine, really. They're great. Finn pouts and Ezra pokes him in the ribs. Easy for you to say. I guess I really should think about leaving now anyway. The twin huffs of protest are impressive, and I tear myself from the bed before I find myself staying here forever, forgetting about my worries. Do you need assistance with finding your clothes? I look around the room, spotting a shoe, a torn shirt. I could probably do with borrowing something to go home in, actually. Ezra sighs, patting Finn on his hairy chest. Yes, this one likes to ruin clothing, doesn't he? Before Ezra can move to help me, Finn curls his fingers around his wrist.
Before you leave me and run back into the daylight, I just need you to know that whatever burdens you have are ours too. Do you understand?
Stop making my heart feel things, okay? I love you. Ezra and I both exhale sharply, smiling, and I'm drawn back towards them like the tide to the moon, my moons.
I love you too.
The statement is enough to tilt my world on its axis, but bright green and gold eyes are there to pull me back to rights. I love you. I love my husband so much. I need to take a minute, like... That just happened, right? I tried with all of my strength to keep focused during those scenes and not get a giggly mess, because I want you to also enjoy this game alongside me, and I sincerely hope that you'll enjoy that. I tried not to make it too lewd. I hope you enjoyed it. The way they say I love you just makes my heart skip. Oh, Andy, you're not the only one. My heart is just doing cartwheels right now. The next few days felt surreal as I relayed my encounter with James to those who most needed to hear. The revelations were met with both shock and horror, but mostly anger. Unsurprisingly, we all found ourselves in the very same question, heavy on the tip of our tongue. Why? I can't deny that the world we live in is a terrifying and uncertain one, but it's all that I know, all that I ever have known. Finn tells me that even before the revelation day, there were unexplained disappearances, murders, grisly things found but never spoken of. Corruption is inevitable in organizations such as this one, but for something so profound and nefarious to be going on right under our noses. I can't help but wonder if the ends justify the means in this little scheme that started in the brain of our leader. The cost is so high, the loss is vast and heartbreaking, and exactly when does it end? Where does the line get drawn when the divide between what's right and wrong is so very blurred? Would it have been safer for us all to live in ignorant bliss all this time? Or would they have overrun us eventually anyway? Maybe, but these are the cards we've been dealt, and Harold Addington has a dirty hand. I'm still biding my time, trying to gather any final scraps of information while I wait for word that Harry has reappeared. As I do most days now, I walk the town from one end to the other. The Norse is easy to patrol, as small as it is, and the townsfolk seem almost relieved when I pass by. The enforcers have become such a suffocating presence here lately, and every time I encounter one, I can't help but feel like I'm being watched. Are they all in on this? I find myself in the woodland at the edge of the graveyard. The sun shining, but the air crisp and cold. The grass crunches beneath my boots, and I see a path of destruction as I walk into an open clearing. Anyone else would be alarmed to see this destruction I find, would likely suspect a creature that had been one to carve jagged welts into the trunks of trees, but I know what caused this, and it was certainly no creature. I find her a little further in, kneeling in the dirt, her head bowed. Beside her are two pieces of what was once a training staff, cracked down the center. I approach quietly, but when she looks up I see a blankness in her eyes, her expression sour. Piper. She forces a smile, her chest heaving with labored breaths, sweat slicking her flushed skin. Stephanie. She hauls herself from the ground, kicking aside the splintered wood with a grunt. Then she retrieves two intact staves from the bag nestled in a pile of overgrown grass and holds it out to me. I know you've come to talk about deep shit, so how about you humor me and let me kick your ass while we're at it? I keep my gaze fixed upon hers as I take one of the staffs from her. So cocky. Piper shrugs, nonchalant and definitely cocky. You know I'm right. Our staffs meet with a solid thwack, those sapphire eyes meeting me head-on as Piper lunges forward with a grin. She's hyper-focused, strong, and I match her powerful blow with ease. Why are you out here? There's a training room back at headquarters. Piper rolls her eyes, wiping sweat from her brow with the back of her hand.
The less I'm around those traitorous idiots, the better. I cannot hold my tongue as well as most, you see.
She launches herself forward again. I have to step back a few paces when she pushes against the pressure of our crossed weapons. I lose my purchase against the muddy forest floor, skidding, and then she's drawing back, swinging again. Shit. I'm used to one-on-one combat, used to the intricacies of it, but Piper is no creature, and it's been a hell of a long time since I sparred with one of my own kind. Her staff makes a solid arc towards my legs, and in a vain attempt at darting out of her way, I find myself falling in an inelegant sprawl. The world tumbles until it reorientates itself when I land on my back, my head tilted back to see Piper standing above me with a far too smug smile upon her face. The hilt of her staff just barely grazes the arc of my very exposed throat, and I weigh out my options very carefully. Gotcha. She would respect me more if I attacked her back. I seize the moment, taking advantage of her smug satisfaction. I swing upwards with my staff, the angle terrible, but not entirely useless as it serves its purpose, hitting hers out of her hands. I jump up, brushing dirt and leaves or whatever other crap lives in the Lunarian forest from my trousers, watching as Piper holds up her hands in defeat, her chest heaving. She eyes her staff, but it's too far away for her to reach. Do you yield? Piper steps closer, taking my weapon in her hands and shoving. She scoffs, but her tone is playful when she responds.
You got lucky.
How you holding up, chat? I laugh at her as she drops her hands. Playtime over. She pauses, eyeing me warily. So, what'd you actually come here for then? You've been avoiding me. Piper purses her lips, averting her gaze. She has been actively staying clear of me since the day I woke up, but I've given her space and respected that the things I divulged would be difficult for her to swallow. But as time drags on, we draw closer to the point we'll have to face all of this corruption. And well, I need Piper, the only other hunter I can truly bring myself to trust, and more importantly, my friend. It's almost time, you know. At least I hope. She pokes the dirt with the toe of her boot, as wonderfully defiant as she always is. I know. Want to get this over with, right?
He'll crawl out of whatever hole he's scurried into, and everything will burn.
I want to see, what chapter are we up to? I'm just going to save quickly. Okay, we're up to chapter 8. We went through 6, 7, 8. We might get to the end of this game tonight. Her eyes are fierce and bright when she finally dares to meet my gaze. Not everything. What he's done. She scoffs again, anger rolling off her in messy waves that break over me, almost leaving me breathless. If I have to kill her, if she became what Azazel did,
I will tear the enforcers to the ground to avenge her if I have to.
You better have a really good fucking explanation for all this, you know? I'm hesitant to condemn him because we haven't heard from Henry in a really, really long time. So I want to have at least some level of sympathy just in case there's like one more revelation that comes out. So actually, I'm going to save this quickly. Just in case. Like, if she gets really pissed at us. He has to, right? I mean, this can't all be for nothing. There has to be an endgame, something that will fix whatever he thinks is broken. Piper stares at me with a barely disguised fury. You are shitting me, right? What he's done cannot be excused.
If he discovered how to banish every creature that wanders this wretched realm, it still wouldn't excuse the crimes he's committed.
Then she looks at me, her expression neutralizing. What he's done is wrong, Stephanie. That could be you and I. I swallowed the lump that forms in my throat, almost suffocates me. She's searching my face, looking for an answer. I can't give her one. I'll talk to him. We'll work it all out, I promise. Piper scoffs, rubbing her dirty hands off on her trousers. You sound so convinced. Then, without so much as sparing me another glance, Piper stalks off into the forest, leaving her equipment behind. Yeah, she's allowed to be pissed, but we haven't heard from Henry in a really long time, and we need answers. Like, it's messed up if, like, he's responsible for all of this, and I absolutely understand her anger, but at the same time, I'm hesitant to, like, condemn him completely. I approach the ABEC with the same level of caution and awareness I always do, even though I'm now quite well acquainted with its inhabitants. Much to my surprise, I spot a familiar face. Lux. It's the first time I've seen her here, and she smiles from ear to ear when she spots me, showing the same enthusiasm for someone she's met once as you would for someone you've known a lifetime. Stephanie. Hey Lux, is it rare for you to be here in the daytime? She shrugs, rocking back and forth on her heels. Kinda. Aurora feels a little paranoid as of late. I do my best to be here as often as I can to put them both at ease. Oh, that's right. Isn't she like her, the guard or something for the ABEC? She pats the 2 pistols that sit in a holster on her back with a smile. Anyway, what brings you here on this fine day? Oh, just the usual. Trying to search for scraps. Maybe find an oddly polite demon or 2. Lux snorts, her nose crinkling in a way that fondly reminds me of Raven and Finn. Oh yeah, they've been here a lot lately. It's nice to see Army so happy. Army? She shrugs as if, of course, she would call a frighteningly stoic man something so soft. He's a sweetheart, one of the nicest guys I know. I'm aware he doesn't leave an excellent impression, but it's just how he is. How they are. I offer her a contemplative hum in response, and she simply laughs, swatting my arm. Go on, I can't stay and chat to you all day, as much as I'd love to. Into the abyss you go. With an overly dramatic flourish, Lux ushers me onward, pushing open the big doors with a shove. It's cold inside, even though it's daytime. The place is just as dilapidated as it was when I first visited, but towards the altar at the end, it seems like someone has been cleaning up. The floor is swept, a crimson cloth covers the altar, and seated upon it with her booted legs swinging, attention firmly fixed upon what looks like an embroidery hoop, is Elaine. Hang on 1 second, guys. Okay. I thought for a second I was getting a bloody nose, but no, I just need to blow my nose at some point. But it's all good. I just was concerned for a second that this game may have literally given me a blood nose. Because my head is very full of a lot of emotions right now. Pretty. I wait a moment before approaching to give her some time to notice me, but her eyes and hands remain focused on her task. Eventually I give up and just go to her. She likely knows I'm coming from down the street anyhow, if she's anything like most demons I've encountered. Sure enough, there's no surprise in Elaine's brown eyes when she looks up at me, smiling warmly and setting her project aside. Hello, Hunter Swan. I stop and blink, and Elaine frowns immediately, pressing a finger to her lips. There's a mellowness in her aura that doesn't put me at ease as his does, and as Elaine peers at me with open amusement and interest, I can't put it into words, but somehow I think I know why. I heard you encountered the creature. Yes, I did. Did Omen tell you? Elaine shakes her head, then shrugs. I'm sorry, though, Stephanie. I take it you saw your kin in that chimera. This time it's definitely a chill that runs down my spine. How did you... No? I've heard it crying, and I found its presence strange. I didn't investigate, though. Elaine covers her mouth with her hand, her brow furrowed as she stares at the red cloth beneath her seat. I didn't think it was your target. It was sad, not dangerous. You heard it cry? When? A little while ago now. It was, a very sad thing, if it were once human. I quickly put a hand to my lips. No one knows that detail yet aside from those I've told, and Lux is just outside the door. Elaine blinks at me slowly, calmly. She tilts her head to the left, then to the right, sizing me up. Then she exhales. Is that disappointment or sadness that I sense? Are you looking for Omen? There's a distinct and uncomfortable feeling that the more I talk to Elaine, the more likely she'll get upset. That feeling is accompanied by a gut-deep knowledge that the princess is not like the prince. She wears a human glamour as firmly and easily as Omen does, and their eyes have the same kind cast. But she looks at me like a demon looks at a mortal, and I don't know if I want to see that version of me that's reflected in her eyes. Not right now. Not with Harry and what he's done weighing on my soul like a stone-hard burden. Yes, do you know where he is? Stay here. Elaine hops off, grabs her embroidery hoop, and ducks into one of the side rooms. As the last flash of her tail vanishes, the front of the temple also changes. Clean swept stone floor becomes dusty and cobwebby again, save the imprint of her boots on the ground. The altar returns to its dusty state, and the red cloth thrown over it just straight up evaporates. An illusion. I didn't even notice. I didn't even sense that there was anything wrong with such a large swath in the room. Before I can dwell too much on how Elaine managed it, a familiar figure emerges. Omen gives me a once-over as he approaches, and the expression on his face is sincerely, almost insultingly sympathetic.
You didn't come to pray.
No, I didn't. He looks at me again, tail swaying gently. I want to tell him my purpose myself so he won't have to guess, but the words don't come out. Because I don't know. At this point, I'm just wandering aimlessly, trying to kill time, to avoid the inevitable. Elaine is gone, but I don't know what I can tell Omen that I haven't already, and I don't know if I could put the question I really have for him, for anyone, into proper words. Stephanie, my sister told me you were looking for me. Something like that, yes. I study Omen for a moment. Hang on, just need to get comfortable in my seat. Okay. I study Omen for a moment. Compared to Elaine, he's closer, maybe even truly comfortable around me. But I shouldn't forget he's not one of us. I must apologize. Omen blinks, then inclines his head. The words come out of nowhere. Even I'm not sure that it was wise to have let them out, but he doesn't seem surprised.
Whatever you want to apologize for, it's not necessary. I caused a disturbance when I came here. That much I can't deny. All to be free from my father. I thought that only I would suffer the consequences, not that it would affect others so severely. I was a fool. Powerful things always break something else when they attempt change.
You're not responsible for the things Harry did.
Thank you for saying that. Still, I put this trouble before him. Maybe he wouldn't have been driven to these means otherwise.
I frown at him, not because I completely disagree with him, but because it does make me wonder. I've rarely had the chance to converse with a being so old. Demons in particular have always existed closely to human history. Would it matter if you hadn't, and he didn't? Or wouldn't it have, because that was what he was capable of regardless? Omen blinks slowly, his head tilted in that almost unnatural way. He folds his hands and studies me for a moment, then looks at some point past my head. There's a faraway look in his eyes that makes me think he's reminiscing of what I wouldn't give to be able to read his mind.
I think you ask a question meant for a hunter. You destroy creatures when they hurt others, but you must know that all creatures are capable of harm and of evil.
Fair point.
Is it wiser for you to kill someone because of its potential to do harm, or kinder for you to not bet its life on your fear? Either way, I don't think this is what you really want to know.
That's for me to decide. He's no longer smiling, but there's something in his eyes that's less speculative now and more like respect.
My sister and I have friends in this town. People we love in this town. We have things to lose. You have my promise to help when you need it. And I have faith that you'll make the right choice. Whatever your definition of right is.
Are you not worried that my definition will be different from what you've hoped?
Maybe. But I'm sure you'll do whatever you think best. I think you're kind. And if you weren't, maybe you would have hurt less about all of this.
Thank you. Omen tilts his head this way, then that, contemplative.
Few seek the advice of a demon. Fewer take it seriously. I wonder if it's fate that I'm here. This place has taught me so many things.
You're a prince of demons, wouldn't you know?
I would need much older eyes to see something so vast. My father would know. Perhaps it's why he doesn't understand why I love your kind. Your fragile, flowing world. Your lives so short they could be measured by seasons, as I do.
As Alcar puts it, it's his fucking loss. I have to snort a laugh hearing that word spill from his mouth. Definitely Alcar's influence. Damn right. I still want to understand him and like know why he did what he did. I'm actually going to save quickly again. Yes, I think that's right. The words lodge in my throat, the intentions too. Omen studies me, but with a soft, trusting expression. Perhaps my first impression is right. I must think on this and act on this alone. I need to speak with Harry. I need to understand him better. There's a passing look he gives me, and I can see that it's both fear and sympathy. Fear for my well-being, undoubtedly. There's no telling what Harry will say or do, and sympathy for what I assume is my attempt to reason with the man. I understand. Just... He smiles again, but this time with sadness tinged in his eyes.
Be careful.
I nod and swallow the lump in my throat. I will, I promise. I should go. Alright, I understand. Shaking my head, I step away. And then turn and head for the door. Suddenly the church feels too oppressive. I have to get out, clear my head. Think. Though I know a faint feeling of dread will, I know with a faint feeling of dread which way my choices will lead. I can feel Omen's eyes on my back until the door closes. I'm nervous. Something's gonna happen. Alcara's waiting for me outside of the temple, that much to my lack of surprise. I've had the sense he's been keeping an eye on me more than usual since the encounter with the creature. My thanks. For... I might have been convinced that I was mistaken, if not for the pout and the defiance on his face. Stifling a grin, I raised my hands in a gesture for peace instead. No need to poke the sensitive wolf today. Waiting for me. I take it you want to talk?
Assuming a hell of a lot, aren't you? But you're right enough. You're about the only exciting thing left in this goddamn town.
You're too kind. And the whole... He gestures vaguely in my direction, and I can't quite get his meaning. I'm not entirely sure Alcar himself knows what he means either, because the expression on his face is one I can't read. One of the many things I've learned about the half-lycan is either he won't lie or he's hellishly bad at it. It reminds me of the folk stories of wolves as betrayers and deceivers. Even now, and not just surrounding Alcar, I wonder if those who told the folklores mistook wolves for foxes, or for their neighbours. Maybe their boss. The whole debacle? Yeah, that. A pause, almost awkward.
So, listen. I'm no good with the whole emotional thing. That's what Ezra's here for.
Ezra's here to handle all your feelings for you, is that it?
No, he just self-expresses better is all. Makes the sentimental shit sound more natural, not so awkward and weird. Anyway, I just wanted to ask if you're doing okay.
Oh. I appreciate the effort you took to arrive at that question.
What do they say? Effort shows affection or something?
Everything is a mess, I suppose. I'm not just going to let all of it, all of what we've learned, go if this is what you're worried about.
I didn't think you would. In fact, I trust that you won't. I know you're gonna try to do something about this mess.
Something probably dangerous. Or if you won't, they'll force you into it. He says it with such bitterness, with such certainty that I know immediately the sentiment must have come from personal experience. I'll do my utmost to prove them unnecessary. I won't be caught dead by anyone else saying this, but if you do, I'd appreciate that. I'm sure you would. Then he inhales deeply, lets it out, slow. So humor me. What are you up to? I still want to try to just talk with him. I look away. Every time someone asks this, I ask myself the same question. I hope the answer would come easier, more sure. Perhaps it does come more surely each time, but it's no easier. I'll talk to him, I suppose. I'm a general, and though he's my superior, I stopped there. Alcar has been remarkably upfront with me about everything, despite his original warning to not trust anyone in this town, including himself. That doesn't mean Hunter's business is for his 4 ears. That's an old, easy excuse. In truth, it's more that I don't want to say the words, make them real. Especially not when, with every passing moment, I can't shake the feeling that Harry might have chosen the hard road, but not entirely the wrong one. I'm a general. I'm tasked with the defense of mankind. I've seen streets filled with supernatural beings savage slaughter, people that I couldn't save. Would I have made the choice with the same steep consequences had I been him? I'm not sure. Well, okay. I shouldn't expect anything else, huh? I didn't imagine the disappointment in his voice, but I can't be sure if it's because of my refusal to finish the sentence or he sensed my turmoil. One way or another, he and I will talk. Does that satisfy your curiosity? Guess so.
Well, I'd better go and put more drinks on somebody else's tab before this town starts missing me.
Oh. Tell me you aren't trying to drain Finn's wealth within your lifetime.
Oh, I wouldn't worry. I broke into the catacombs once just to see how rich our man is. And he's loaded. It's not like the treasure would sit there and marinate if you don't spend it.
He could pay taxes. Pay taxes to your boss. He has a point there. I have an appointment to catch with my enforcer anyway. Well, I'll pray for you. Thank you. With a laugh and a shake of his head, Alcar shoves his hands deep in his pockets and ambles away towards the tavern's direction. I wait until he's out of sight before heading my own way. I'm thinking, what chapter are we up to? I'm just going to save again quickly. Actually, gonna save there. I'm just gonna step away for a second, just to use the bathroom and grab another drink because I finished my tea. Because it feels like we're getting towards the end of this game. We're on chapter 8 now, and I'm trying to think like if we've still got enough for like another entirely separate stream. Because it's like getting on to 2.5 hours now, and I'm thinking like if the past 2 chapters have been about 2.5 hours, if maybe I should wait until next week before continuing and we wrap things up now. Because yeah, the past 2.5 hours have just flown by, and it feels like we had a lot of stuff happen tonight, and so yeah, I think it's a good time to wrap things up for tonight. Because even though I want to get right to the end of the story, I still want to savor it. And, yep, so we'll finish off this game next week, I believe. Because, like, this, what happened in this stream was very intense. And I want to just kind of savor that moment. But let us wrap things up here and now. Let us head back to main menu. All that good stuff, so we can see our lovely, lovely loves. But thank you all so very much for joining me tonight here at the Blue Rose Respite. If you've been lurking in the shadows and you like what you've seen so far, please consider following. We would love to have you back. You're welcome anytime. Be sure to check out my other socials in the chat, including my 2 YouTube channels, one for my ASMR tales and the other for my Twitch VODs. My latest ASMR tale has been doing amazingly well, which is a wonderful feeling. So lots of love to everyone who's checked that out. But let's see who's currently streaming and we'll send them some love. Why don't we go and say hi to the amazing, as always, Neil Newborn, shall we? And with that, I bid you all... Oh, Crowface, thank you so much for the follow. You are now one of my lovely Lost Tales. You are welcome at the Blue Rose Respite anytime. Be sure to join me next Friday for more Resident Evil 4 Remake, and next Sunday where we will be finishing When the Night Comes. Thank you all so very much for joining me tonight on this surprisingly steamy stream. I hope you all have an amazing week ahead, and remember, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. And as always, stay wicked and wonderful. Good night, guys.